Spartan Nation and Big Ten Nation. What's going on here? Q the Woodshed coming back at you. I'm Ken, the super cool Spartan. My brother Brian, the super mad Spartan, coming at you with some more fresh content here. And this is our view of those fighting John Smiths coming off that spectacular double OT thriller against Boston College. We got that, the first revenge game has been avenged, now in the books. Now we're moving on to Youngstown State, third game on the schedule here, as well as our expanded Big Ten talk about the conference. Now, we're not going to highlight all the teams because there's 18 teams. That's why we have the Big Ten Network. So until the Big Ten Network approaches us, say, hey, Q the Woodshed, we love what y'all doing. We're going to sign y'all on, be some correspondence or something. We would it. But in the meantime, this is our doing our own thing here. From a fan's perspective here, that's what we do here. What's going on, Super Mad Spartan? How you living? What's going on? So you rocking the shiny bald head today?
Yeah, just changing it up. I'm too many have to choose from, so I didn't choose one at all. But no, I'm doing good. It's always good to come off a victory weekend.
Most definitely. Better to come off of a W than an L. And let's be
Every
honest,
day.
we've been seeing a lot of L's these past few seasons. So, but hey, we're here to talk about what's coming up next. What's coming up
Yes.
next on
We're
the
moving
menu.
forward. We're
Moving
2-0,
forward.
trying to go 3-0.
Right. Hey, make sure you guys check out our Super Spartan thing about the game against Boston College. We just dropped that fresh podcast for you on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music. So make sure you check that out. And we just following up with this one here. So let's just hop right into it, sir. Let's hop right into it. So, Brian, I want to kick it off with a Big Ten experience that I had this past weekend here.
Okay.
I know you said that you went to the game with our dear old pops and niece and a couple of your homies. I wasn't at the game, this one here. Reason being is because for the first time, I had the Ohio State experience. Me and the family, we went to the Ohio State Grambling game in Columbus because,
Practice.
yeah, push was a glorified scrimmage because they pretty much stomped Grambling 70-0. But Grambling's band was awesome. I'm glad they got a chance to come to Columbus to do their thing. I wish it would have happened when MSU played Prairie View last year, but yeah, Grambling did their thing, with the band for sure. But my son, Mr. Ethan 8-Bit Williams, the music producer here of the podcast, your nephew, he has an affinity for Ohio State. And I think it came from actually the 2021 season when we went to Columbus and pretty much got dump trucked, if I remember correctly. And ever since
Yes.
he saw that, he was like, oh, I love Ohio State. I love Ohio State. So the matriarch of our family here, the lovely wife, Mrs. Erica Adams Williams, shout out to her, and one of her friends and their family, their son, they like Ohio State too. So, she was the brainchild of saying, hey, why don't we get some tickets to go to Ohio State game? So made it happen. And surprisingly, I didn't know Ohio State was really as close as it was because this was my second time going to campus. The first time was, I think, maybe about 3 years ago during my son's midwinter break. And so as long as, being in the Big Ten and watching Ohio State from a distance and hearing about Columbus, I really had no idea where Columbus was in Ohio. Just to be frank, I was just like, you know,
Not on your
maybe
radar.
Columbus, right? Maybe Columbus. I thought
Oh
Columbus was
man,
like towards the tip of the Ohio Kentucky border. But when I realized that Columbus is only like a 3 hour, 3.5 hour drive, I was like, oh, Ohio State's not that
that's not
really
that far.
far. Yeah.
No, not
So
from
it was
us.
a great experience. I mean, being in the horseshoe for the first time, they give like an NFL experience type of feel, for the crowd because of course the national champs, so they had the national champs type of entrance into the field where they had the fire you know on the field, and you see the camera walking the team down with Ryan Day in the middle, and everyone getting hype, and the
It's a
2020
performance.
for national champs. Definitely. I mean, they treated it, and deservingly so. They treated it as if they won the Super Bowl, and pretty much they did. They won the college version
Man,
of the Super
they
Bowl. So
fair and
it
square.
was it was great. Yeah, it was great, bro. And we've as fans, on the mic, off the mic, we've always talked about Ohio State and how they're the cream of the crop of the Big Ten, and just showing how mighty they were. I mean, I don't know if they even punted in the game. I think the only thing I saw was the quarterback. He did throw an interception in the end zone because the score could have been almost 80-0. I mean, seriously,
Wow.
but he threw that pick in the end zone. But ever since then, it was a clinic. I mean, it was a clinic, but it was a cool experience. I mean, it was a really cool experience. So, we had a good time, in the horseshoe and being in that sea of red, and, watching, the Buckeyes just really get down and, and make, they just, what can I say? They did their thing. I mean, easily. It was,
Had it on them. That's
put
what
it
it's
on
supposed to
them.
do. That's what that was to be expected, right? We know what Ohio State is, and that's like their tune-up game. They already had their big opener versus Texas. This is their okay. Let's get right. Let's get out of here injury free and move forward.
Yes. And that they
Very
did.
similar to what I would like the Spartans to do versus Youngstown State.
Yes, yes. And that's an excellent transition. So let's get into it. Next up on the deck for the Mighty Spartans is Youngstown State. And we've played them a few times in the past. I know when we talked about it on our podcast, our Spartan podcast, um, the last time I remember playing them, it was 2013. I know you said that we played them probably since then, but the 2013 was really maybe because the way that we put on Youngstown State at that time.
Oh yeah,
Um,
it's just because
but
offense wasn't doing that great, and then I think it was Youngstown State or is it Jacksonville State? One of the two. Don't get
yeah,
quote me
something
on that one,
state.
but
I remember that. Something
something
state.
State. But anyway, we know it's Youngstown State coming up. This upcoming weekend, Michigan State's third game at home.
Yes. Yes. And what I do like about this season schedule compared to last year, because last year it was the first time I've seen a schedule where it's home away, home away, home away, home away. This one, the first three games at home, and then they go on the road after that. But I think I think it's a good look for them, just for them to settle in, getting most of the at least to open the season, most of their games at home, to get themselves feeling good. And we know that, when they played Boston College, it was definitely a barn burner for sure, but we got the W. So now Youngstown State, let's face it. I mean, they're a lesser opponent. They're not Boston College or,
No,
whomever like that.
this should be a game that we win convincingly and easily. And if it's not that, that can be in the what will I be mad about section. But no, you know, to be respectful of our opponents, I looked them up. You know, their coach is Doug Phillips. I watched a couple of their highlights of their games. They're a very run heavy team. Matter of fact, their quarterback was a Bo Brungard. He leads the team in passing and rushing. So it's a
Oh
very run
wow.
centric type offense. And the leading receiver only has like 112 receptions. So yeah, they're very run heavy, kind of try to be a smash mouth team. So if that's what they do well, I feel like that's what we stop well. So it shouldn't
Right.
be too much issue. Our strength is on defense is stopping the run. Their strength offense is running, and it shouldn't be a problem. It should be, which this game should be working on execution and staying motivated and playing a clean football game.
And getting in
And
that
I'm
backfield as a defense. Need to get
and it,
into that backfield.
I would like to definitely and disrupt the quarterback is a running quarterback, but they will drop back and throw the ball, so you have to be ready for it. But he shouldn't have any time because they like to throw deep
Mm-hmm.
shots. Like okay, I have to run, well, play action, go deep. So there are going to be opportunities there. And frankly, Hollis team performed versus Western Michigan. I would assume that we should be able to get some positive results in all aspects. Because if it's not, we have a big game coming up versus USC, and it's not going to instill a lot of confidence in fan base or me included. That if we struggle versus Youngstown State after a big victory versus Boston College, okay, they have to refocus and you're going to play your first legitimate test of the season. I know Boston College was a test of its own, but it was more like a pop up test in the middle of the week, like pop quiz. Hey, you should pass this. We've been talking about it all week, but here's your pop quiz. Pass, it, okay? A little shaky, but we got a 2 point victory. Next step, USC. How are we going to look?
Right. Right. So two things I'm thinking of. Well, three. One is you're talking about the quarterback from Youngstown State, and I'm just thinking of this, from the eyes of a fan here. When you talk about a quarterback that is run happy, I guess I would say, I wonder if that means the passing game isn't where it should be.
It's hard to know because I haven't I haven't broken down all of Youngstown State film. I watched a couple of highlights of their most recent games. And with the highlights, you only can get so much of a feel. It just seems like they have the design runs for the quarterback. He's their
Mm-hmm.
playmaker, so they just put the ball in his hands. Say, okay, well, go do it.
Right. I guess he's like Lamar Jackson Jr. uh,
No.
I'm not saying he's Lamar Jackson. I'm just, because Lamar, he definitely
his
throw that
strength,
ball.
his strength is he doesn't strike me as a pocket passer. And again, in Youngstown State, their defense, like I said, again, hard to get a feel for it because we know they're playing their peers. They just beat, I think it was Horst or something like that. I don't know where that school
Mm-hmm.
is at. So, they
Right.
won like 24-15. So they had a kind of a thrilling game, back and forth game a little bit, but they pulled it out in the end.
Right.
So,
Right.
in their defense, it seemed like they try to cause turnover. They try to like, ride to the ball, all the
Mm-hmm.
cliches you can put out there.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they try to do. But
Okay.
again, this should be an opponent that we are completely overmatched.
Right. Right. What brings up my second point. And this is one of those cliches too, because we know after Youngstown State is MSU's first road test, at USC, which is going to be a super, super night game for us. 11
Yes,
o'clock
11
start
p.m.
time.
kick. Mm,
So definitely be drinking a lot of Red Bull the next Saturday. But
yes.
the old cliche is, when you face a lesser opponent before, a big game the week after, if you kind of let your eyes, off the off the ball a little bit, kind of overlook,
So
which may
peeking
get you
forward, as
into a
they
little
say,
bit of get you into a
looking
little bit
ahead.
of trouble because you just think, oh yeah, I'm gonna go into this game. And I'm not saying that Spartans will do that, not at all, but it's just one of those thoughts that, hey,
This team
Youngstown
can't afford
State,
to overlook
yeah,
anybody.
mm, right. This is true. This is true. When you're trying to climb the mountaintop, you take every opponent seriously. And again, this thing from a fan's perspective, because that's what our show is about. You know, our thoughts from a fan's point of view here. Just looking, from the the overlooking the Spartan Stadium here. Like, hey, so
Hey, we can look for it. We're just fans. We don't gotta go out there and play the game. So yeah, I'm definitely all right. Show me what I need to see. Just a clean, nice game versus Youngstown State, and so I can get the good vibes going into USC because that's going to be the test. It's going to be
oh
another test.
yeah,
Who knows how good or bad USC is? They've played some not so great teams so
mm-hmm.
far. They've looked good. So who knows? We might be their first real test. I don't know who USC plays this upcoming week, but we might be their first. Like, okay, their first like P4. Like, hey, we're a legitimate school.
Right, 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 and yeah, it would be nice if MSU just took care of business, especially like when Ohio State at the Grambling, they got their second and I think maybe third stringers in that game. It'd be nice if we did the same thing to get some of
Yeah,
the
get some
second
young guys,
string
get some
because they
some
need some
experience.
it's PT too, and they need some PT as well.
It's a long
So
season. Injuries are part of the game. We need people to get that experience to get ready.
right, right, the get ready game, and I remember isn't Youngstown State there mascot a penguin? I think the
Yes,
penguins
the
or
Penguins.
something. Yes,
Yes,
and I think too. I don't know if he still is, but I think that I think Jim
Jim Tressa.
Trusso is
Yes, yeah,
the
he used to
AD
be there.
there.
I don't know if he's still the
Yeah,
AD, but yeah, he was there for a little while.
yeah. I think he cut his teeth at Youngstown State before he moved up the ranks. So, but yeah, yeah. Bottom line is MSU, y'all got to get it done on Saturday, and don't mess around. Do what you need to do to handle your business and keep that train moving. Because after this Saturday, you start getting to that Big Ten schedule.
It's tough. Like it's the schedule is not as hard as last season, but it's still like you got to show up every game. It's not going to
Oh
be there's
yeah,
no
yeah,
gimmies. I mean, I had I no disrespect to Youngstown State. This the last. Okay, we got to get our stuff together game because after this, like I said, there's no easy opponent on the schedule for the rest of the season.
right.
There are teams that almost almost all our games this season outside of a few like Penn State. That's obviously we're going to be not favored in that one. Where most of the other games is going to they're almost going to be damn near toss ups.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, and that's what makes this year's schedule interesting because with so many teams we're playing that are pretty much at MSU's level. Like I said, and we talked about the Nebraskas, the Iowas, you know, um, teams like those. Um,
The
yeah, those
Maryland's
are
that
toss ups.
all our peer groups, like those are toss
Right,
up games, and obviously we're not going to be favored versus Illinois or Indiana or Penn State or and those teams have all looked good. Indiana, I mean, not Indiana, Illinois has looked. I know, kind of skipping ahead, but Illinois has looked worth their ranking so far.
oh yeah, oh yeah, and hey, we might as well just transition to our Big Ten talk. Our Big Ten talk brought to you by Cue the Woodshed.
Into by us.
Yes, sponsored by us. So, and also I was going to point out too, Brian, about Illinois that um I haven't seen the current rankings, and right now, rankings don't really mean
Yes,
anything. There's just like you said, they just get you all hyped up to watch the game. But I'm sure that Illinois at least must be number 10 because I think last week
Last time I
they
saw they were
were
11.
okay. I know they were knocking
So I
on the
think,
door.
yeah, they
Yeah,
last time I saw
I
they're 11. So top 10 maybe. I
yeah, they got to be in the top 10. And I know they spanked Duke,
That was a
handily.
close game. I watched most of that game. It was a close game in the first
Mm-hmm.
half. Second half, just blew their doors out. Just came at and just say we're the better team. They just moved them. You know,
Yeah.
we kind of qualitative. We looked at Illinois at the beginning of the season, like I don't know, they got that
Right.
ranking, but I can shut up. They look like a good team because it's
Oh
never
yeah,
easy
they
to go on the
do.
road and go to a team that's hyped to see you and you put them down like they did Duke.
Right.
I'm not saying
Right.
Duke is some great team, but they're not complete like bottom feeders, I don't believe. So Illinois, okay, salute.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure. And I know you have mentioned this Oregon. Oregon's been hasn't been getting all the hype so far. They've been like under the
Oregon
radar.
played Oklahoma State and completely dismantled them.
Yeah, did they shut them
Oregon's
out? I
Oklahoma
think they
State, yeah, I believe so. Like
yeah,
66
I think like
0.
shut them out like 62-0, I think.
It's Dante Moore,
Yep,
Detroit
Detroit.
King products.
Yeah, Detroit King product. Yeah.
Wheeling, dealing. He's looking like the 5-star QB that you know he was recruited to be.
Oh yeah. I know Mel
But
Tucker tried to get him back in the day. Didn't happen, but
yeah, it's probably best for his career at that point.
right.
but but no, it feels like no one is talking about Oregon. It's just all you hear a lot of Ohio State, Penn State is like the two top dogs in the Big Ten, and Oregon's looking around like, "Hey guys, yeah, we here."
Yeah, don't forget about it. I mean, we did
Like,
win the Big Ten last year.
yeah, like and Oklahoma State is not some. I know they might not be the Oklahoma State of years past, but they're not some bum to 66.
Yeah,
That's not nice.
that's murder. That's
Not nice at all.
that's football homicide. I mean, 66-0. I mean, or Oklahoma State is not Grambling. No disrespect to Grambling
No, no, they're
at
not.
all.
This is another was it P we call them P4 now, a P4 school.
Mm-hmm.
Like Oklahoma State has a tradition. We know about Oklahoma State. Mike Gundy might uh
I
not
know.
be there
I'm a
much
man.
longer.
I'm 40.
That was a long time ago. He said that. That's like
Yeah, that was about
over a
10,
decade
11 years
now.
ago.
Yeah. So, but man, that was eye opening. If
It was. It was.
Oregon's looking like a team, like and I just feel like no one it's not even getting mentioned. It's just Ohio
Right.
State, Penn State. Who's gonna? I feel like the narrative this football season, and maybe it's just me, is in the Big Ten at least. Is Penn State gonna get over the hump of beating Ohio State? That's like the the
That's
the
the main
main
narrative
focus.
of the conference for the Big Ten. Can James Franklin get over the hump?
And then
I mean,
for Ohio State, it's basically like
that's the overall narrative.
in Ohio State, their whole thing is it seems like just like I said, from my point of view, can they beat Michigan this year? Like everybody else is considered like whatever they're gonna beat them, but can they beat their rival this year? And well, frankly, Ryan Day has to.
Yeah.
I don't think they're gonna
Even
fire him, but I think there'll be a movement to be like maybe you should look somewhere else. It won't be this season, but it's a tough thing, to win a national championship, but you haven't beat your bitter rival. That leaves a bad taste in your
yeah.
mouth.
Yeah, that's the only blemish on this because he's lost 4 straight, and we know 2 of those were with the help of Connor Stallions. Let's just say what it is.
Yeah, maybe
2 of
3,
those years with the help of Connor Stallions. 2 in the
two and a
possible.
half. Two,
And
two,
yeah,
yeah,
in the
two and a
world
possible.
and in the world of spades, 2 in the possible.
Definitely
But
2, but yeah, let me just sneak that last one in there. A little bit of Constant's magic left over.
Right.
Left the secret files were left over.
Right. Those last text messages that get siphoned through, from the investigation.
Here's the rest of Ohio State's game plan that I was able to infiltrate. I got the
Right.
Ohio
My
State knock list.
right. My the Ohio State knock list.
Ohio State knock
I
list.
love that. Yes. My parting gift before I got that show call.
But speaking of cheaters, uh,
uh,
Wolverines went to Norman, Oklahoma, and I think most people didn't expect them to win.
uh,
Um, they didn't get their doors blown off score wise, but it was clear that Oklahoma was the better team.
oh
Um,
yeah. Yeah, they were ready. They were ready for them boys.
if I and I'll put my hate aside a little bit and just try to be objective about that other school. I would not be happy with Sharon Moore as a football coach in terms of the offense. This is his offense. He was the coordinator under Jim Harbaugh. He
You
supposedly
mean the
ran the offense. He
the
did all
Bo
this. He
Bo
did.
Schembechler 3.0 offense?
It's it's brutal,
Oh
and
man.
I don't understand. You got this freshman. He's talented. I know you're trying to protect him. I'm watching the game. Like, are they going to let him throw the ball down the field? Because every pass, it looked like it was behind line of scrimmage. Like if you have to play like that, you know, maybe you should have other alternatives. And this, to be clear, I'm not knocking Bryce Underwood because I think he's going to be really good. He has the tools. Look, like he's going to be a really really good quarterback. It's going to be a problem in the Big Ten. But man, their offense was kind of oof. Outside of like two or three big runs, they looked like the same team from last year with no quarterback. And
You
their
know what's
defense
funny
looks
is
okay. And
mhm.
they can get after the quarterback, so I can't talk too much junk about their defense at all.
Yeah, it's and we had talked about this. I think maybe we started the season is that with that team down the road, it's the same formula that they ran when Jim Harbaugh was the coach, especially during the with the help during the Connor Stallions era, where we're just going to primarily run the ball and throw a little pass here and there, and we're going to lean in our defense, to really make the thing happen, make the engine run. We're going to play tough defense, and we're going to run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. Hit you with a little pass here and there, a couple of throws to the tight end to throw you off, and then boom. So, and I was going to say too that on the way home from Columbus, um, we were going through or listening to some TikTok things about the Michigan Oklahoma game because the family they were looking at some cue the witch said TikToks and they were just wanted to see what else was out there from the other Big Ten teams. So they came across some Michigan TikToks about the Oklahoma game. And there were a good number of people saying the same thing that you said, Brian, about how, they were mad about the offense looking so pedestrian and, whatever the case might be. And, like you, I mean, I understand because of Bryce being so young. I mean, this is just his second ever start. I mean, last year the kid was just in high school for goodness sake. So now, you have him in the belly of the beast and at Oklahoma, top 10 team, top 10 defense. So from a coaching perspective, I can understand why Sharon did what he did. Do I agree with it? I mean, Probably not. I mean, I probably would, like you said, maybe, you know, let him do a little more than, probably could have. Maybe, I don't know, but it was interesting hearing the different TikToks about MSU's win over Boston College versus Michigan's loss at Oklahoma, and just from the small thing that I overheard while I was driving home, yeah, it seems like there are a lot of mad Michigan fans. They're not happy with
I mean,
Sharon.
no fan base is going to be happy after a loss, but and I don't. And to be clear, there are a lot of regular Michigan fans, not the crazies we all get accustomed to seeing. But
True.
so none of them were like, "Oh, hey, I expect Michigan to go out there and win this game." Now they thought it was a winnable game, but it's hard to say because all right, the score should have been more than what it was. It should have been a bigger blowout. I mean, I guess the score doesn't seem like it was a blowout. It should have been a blowout. Oklahoma gave Michigan every opportunity to make some plays and come back in that game. There's fumbles, interceptions, stupid penalties. Like they kind of letting them hang around. But Michigan just seemed very unable, like helpless to capitalize on it. Like I said, outside of a few like two big runs by their running backs, their run game didn't look very good. Their pass game didn't look good. And I understand. I think their starting tight end wasn't there, so that maybe contributed to it. But again, as they fancy themselves the blue blood and they have they're born better and they get the better recruits. You would have thought they would have somebody else like tucked in the wings for offense, especially during your Connor Stallions time. Y'all blowing people's doors off. Everybody looked good. You should have. They were supposedly had really good recruiting classes. Like, okay, it's time. These guys have been there enough. It's time to
Time to
show it.
pay up. Right. That
No, and
NIL
I'll say
checks.
to be fair, I thought their defense was solid. I didn't think it was. They can win with that defense. The offense needs to do something. That's the best way to put it.
Hmm.
I, we gotta win. We gotta beat them this year. I don't care what they look like.
Yes. I agree with you on that. I agree with you on that. That's definitely a revenge game on the list here, but we will take one revenge game at a time. One revenge game at a time.
Yes, we
So,
have this. We can look forward all we want to. Like I said, the players, I'm sure they just focused on the Penguins right now.
oh yeah. Oh yeah, because we got about a month and a half before the Michigan game. So, and I'm quite sure by the time that game plays, both teams will have taken some lumps. So,
I mean, I hope not. Cross the fingers for us. Like maybe
oh
put a
yeah,
little
oh
something
yeah,
together.
but right for
Hopefully,
sure. Speaking of lumps, some of the teams in the Big Ten that definitely took some lumps. Iowa, they got they stubbed their toe against their rival Iowa State for that Cyhawk Trophy.
man, that offense is whew, brutal.
Now you talk
I know
now. What is
we complain about offense
right?
like, oh my God. I have been bad at offense for like
Yeah,
5 years, like 5, 6 years.
right, right.
Almost two recruiting classes bad. Like, man.
Yeah, Kirk Ferentz, man. I'm just like, I think he's like the most tenured coach in the Big Ten. He's been alive
Oh, for
almost 30
sure.
years. And I'm
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
dude, what's going on with, are you like allergic to offense or something? Or,
And they've tried, they brought people in. It just might be time to put the
oh, I
statue of
think
Kirk
so.
Ferentz
I
out
think
there and
so.
say, Kirk, you've done a fantastic job as a Hawkeye. No, now come take this plushy AD adjacent, like, handshaking position for university and let somebody else take over.
Oh
You've
yeah,
earned your
yeah.
keep,
It's
sir.
it's been time. Like I know when as much as we love Mark D'Antonio, he got MSU to the highest or furthest he could get, and he did it within about what 10 to 12 years, I think.
He came in 2007. We won the Big Ten championship. The first one was what 2011. He won three Big Ten
Yep.
championships. So yeah,
So
about
when
4 years.
he retired, yeah, he did it. It was time for him to. He did it right. He was like, I'm not gonna stay, 30 years. He was like, I did what I did. I'm out. Kirk Ferentz did the same thing. I mean,
Now think about
and
this.
I
For them,
can't think of
they
the
hired
last
his
time.
son to be the OC,
Right, and they fired
and then
him.
had to fire him because
They hired him.
the offense
They
was so bad. And remember, they put in his contract they had to average like 30 points a game, or he was in there.
right,
I was like, yeah, mm.
right. Like,
I
damn,
well,
you
yeah,
hired and fired your son. So if you do that, it's time to like, hey, bro, it's time. It's
but
time.
all that being said, that still be a toss up game for us. Like
Oh
we
yeah, because at Iowa, yeah,
they can still win. Like they'll give you a 10-13 victory.
oh yeah,
So
that is a
it's still
tough
tough.
place to play. Kinnick Stadium, murder, murder for
All right, what's
sure.
the other team? Other
Oh man, those
surprise
Bruins, baby,
bottom
those
the
those
Bruins.
Bruins, man.
Those
I
were
like
lost
that
what
head coach too, man.
UNLV?
I like him. Is it Deshaun Foster? I think his name
I
is.
believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that dude, man. But man. They paid all that money to get my man from Tennessee, and so far it ain't paying off.
It ain't looking like it's not looking right. Like they lost. I can understand Utah's a good program. Okay, you lost to Utah. You kind of got your doors blown off. First game, okay. I would be very upset, but okay, I can rationalize it. Losing to
Mm-hmm.
UNLV, that's not a good
Yeah.
look.
And that game at home? I think that game was at
I would
home,
have
wasn't
to
it?
assume so. I assume it's at home.
Man.
'Cause if not, let me look it up real quick. 'Cause that's
Yeah, I'm rooting for Deshaun Foster, man. I'm rooting for my man, but whew, that's a tough start, boy. Going 0-2 already. And you just in non-conference play. Mm.
yeah, that's the recipe to get you going.
Yeah, relatively quickly. I mean,
Let me see.
I know UCLA ended the season more on a positive note because I think they won their last maybe 4 or 5 games. I don't think UCLA went to a bowl game, but they ended their season on a winning streak compared to us. But you in year two and you already down 0-2, like, yeah, that's tough. TUFF, not the regular spelling TUFF, tough.
Let
So,
me get this
man.
pulled up so I can find this. I'm pretty sure it was a home game.
Mm-hmm.
No, it was a road game. They lost 23-30.
Oh, so their first game was on the road?
No, there's some of the game they just lost to UNLV.
Oh.
Their first game was at home and they got the doors blown off by Utah. And then they went on the road and lost to UNLV.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah, that's tough.
They're currently sitting at the bottom of the Big Ten with no victories.
Wow. Are they the only winless team in the Big Ten?
I would imagine so.
Wow.
That's why I'm sitting at 18th.
Whew, man. Yeah.
Well, enough about those other people. What about come back to our squad? Need to come back. We need to end it on our good old fashioned MSU fun fact. What you got for us, King?
Yes, let's do it. Let's chop it up. I got to stump you again. You looking like
Probably.
you looking like UCLA right now with the fun
0
football
two.
fact.
True. True story.
All right, let me see if I'll stump you again, Super Mad Spartan. All right, you ready for this one?
Yes, sir.
All right. How many times has MSU football won at least 10 games? Twice, 5 times, or 8 times?
8.
You think it's 8?
We've won 10 games, like won 10 games 8 times. Yeah, I think it's 8.
Yes. Are you sure?
We
You
go
still
with
have
8.
time to
Yes,
change your answer.
I'm gonna go with 8.
Survey says, ding, ding, ding. You got it right, sir.
Yeah, for sure.
You're
Like,
no longer
yeah,
in the winless column.
off the top of my head, I was like, I could think of more than 5 right now. So definitely.
Yes, MSU has won at least 10 games 8 times in their illustrious football history. Going back to, they didn't play 10 games in the 60s. I mean, outside of the bowl game, but I don't think. But yes, they've won at least 10 games or more 8 times. So for people, who really, because, there are a lot of, haters out there saying that, yeah, Michigan State ain't do nothing. They ain't do nothing. They ain't win no national championships. Like, no, slow down, hold your brakes. MSU does have some national banners, in their program history. They won at least 10 games. Like I said, 8 times. So, you know, MSU is not that little engine that could that, people project it to be, especially here in our area, because, here in the Detroit area, metropolitan area, it's all about that team down the road, regardless if, they're cheaters or not. It's all maize and blue, maize and blue, maize and blue. But yes, MSU, they have a pretty good program history. So that's why we do these fun football facts.
Okay,
So
Kenny.
on that note, this is another good episode here, podcast of Q the Woodshed. Any parting words, Super Mad Spartan?
You already know the parting words. Go green.
Go white. Make sure you check us out on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music. We're on Facebook and TikTok and Instagram. So, and check out like I said, our not spotty, our Spartan podcast that just dropped. So we hitting you all kinds of mad content. Cue the Woodshed, and we're out.
Peace.
Peace. Go green and go white.